Yeah.
Still not, no.
Jason Isaac's big embark, engage catchphrases. Go.
It's not quite as good, is it?
No, I feel a bit let down.
Support WrestleTalk!
Be friendly in the comments.
Hello and welcome to WrestleRamble. This is Luke Owen, I'm Ollie Davis, and today we're going to be going through our predictions for Clash of Champions. Actually, pretty much just the predictions, because my voice still isn't perfect, although it's doing okay so far. Why did I even say that? Why did I say that? It started you.
Sorry, I caught something in my own throat there.
Yes.
You tempted fate too much by wondering, I can definitely talk without coughing. How did you find doing the news today?
Broken up.
Yeah.
Like, it usually takes me so long to do the news. Now it took me this long to do the news because I cough a lot in between takes. So before we move on, actually, I will tell you one story from my week of being very ill, just in case I forget it. It wasn't just me being very ill and not being able to do much. It was also brain fog, so I couldn't really think much either. And I thought I was 2 days in and I thought, this is terrible, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna help around the house because my poor lady partner was having to do everything. And she was working very hard at work anyway. So I thought, I'm gonna put a wash on.
Wow!
I put a wash on and I'm like, yeah, this is good. 4 days later, ages ago that the wash happened, I look at one of the jumpers, one of my lady partner's jumpers that she'd just put in. She'd just gone out like her winter jumper range, very expensive, very bright.
For American
Yes.
viewers, like a sweater, I believe they call it, or a
Like
pullover.
this.
Yeah, like this, yeah. It's basically one of these.
And I'd shrunk them all.
Oh no, you shrunk every single one.
Shrunk every single
How
one.
did you manage that? The
I
wrong
just
temperature.
Wrong temperature.
Oh, mate.
They were like little baby ones, and she was like, yeah, they're all ruined, but I didn't want to say anything because you're ill.
Oh, bless your heart, man.
I know. So
you can't cook, you can't clean. What use are you around the house?
I'm good at just infecting stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty good at that. And not being able to hold proper conversations and coughing over your face.
I did
It's another thing I'm really good at right now.
I did see a great comment yesterday that was just like, you're not being a trooper, it's just called getting everyone else ill. Although I like to think, because I've got over my illness now, I feel like my immune system is at its highest. So I'm like, I'm not afraid to be in this very enclosed space with you while we record this.
And at the moment, you're the only other person at the studio.
Yes.
So it's only Luke who's
It's
in trouble.
only me, it's fine.
So
I can survive being ill.
So before we do the actual predictions, we need a punishment. We've only got one competition this month, and that is the Clash of Champions predictions. So what should we do if one of us loses those predictions? Do we do mean tweets? The loser will have to read out mean tweets or mean comments. Or do we do the cinnamon challenge? A classic there. I think mean tweets. Because it's not as physically painful. I'm going for the mentally. I think I'm more mentally tough at the moment. Whereas you want to go for the
cinnamon challenge. It's not painful. It's very difficult to do, and it's funny to watch.
Okay.
I think that is a more entertaining video than mean tweets.
Well, let's put it up to the SWAF Nation to decide. There's a poll above our heads. If you click on that, you can vote for which one you want to see done, and then the loser of the Clash of Champions predictions will have to do it. Speaking of, so on the kickoff show we have Zack Ryder versus Mojo Raleigh. What a build this has been.
A match that has been 2017 in the making, more or less. We've been waiting for Zack Ryder to come back, and they start teasing their dissension, probably in... it feels like June, maybe even May of this year.
It was as soon as Zack came back, wasn't it?
That's what I mean, yeah. They were teasing that dissension there. They finally pulled the trigger 10 months later, when it was at its hottest. And now here we are, finally, the clash of the Hype Bros.
They're not champions.
No, they are not, but they are clashing on the kickoff show.
So yeah, this started last December, when the Hype Bros became the number one contenders for the tag team titles. But in that match, after they won, Zack Ryder hurt himself on the last move, or like one of the last moves, which that's what happened to Drew McIntyre. That happens a sad amount of times. And yeah, he was out for a long period of time. In his absence, Mojo Rawley won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which leads to great things.
That just skyrocketed his WWE, just as it has done for previous Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winners.
Big Show.
Big Show, Cesaro. Baron Corbin, I think, is probably the only one who's actually got somewhat of a push out of winning winning it.
Of course, the Gronk.
Yes, yeah, that lad who tried to jump the rail and security guard tried to stop him.
Something called the Gronk. What a weird 2017. When you look back on everything, it's been weird.
Well,
weird.
My takeaway from Mojo Rawley's 2017 is just like, if you haven't got the Gronk with you, then you're nothing. Because WWE do not care.
So are you going to go for Ryder?
No one going for Mojo Rawley.
Wow, that's how low Ryder is.
Oh, God, yeah, like, Zack Ryder...
Gronkless Rawley is better than Ryder.
Zack Ryder winning this match would be among the most pointless things done this year.
I am also going for a Mojo Rawley win.
Going for MJ.
MJ. Almost as pointless as an Intercontinental title win at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it sure was. When Zack Ryder won, I'm sure it was a great feel-good moment for him, and he got to have his WrestleMania moments, the first time his music had ever been played at WrestleMania, and he got to pose with Scott Hall and the belt. Grand. I'm sure it was great for you, but when he won, I do remember thinking like, wow, Zack Ryder, hey? I guess we're going with a push for Zack Ryder in 2016. Nope, loses it the next night on Raw to The Miz. Right, okay, so it was nothing then.
It was like, oh, okay, well, it's about 3 years too late when he was popular. But we have spoken for 2 minutes about this feud, which is 2 minutes too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bri Xango versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Another huge payoff to a long-running feud. This is 6 months in the making of the two BTs on the Fashion Files skits. It's like Final Battle in Ring of Honor, where they wrap up all the year's storylines. Although this is just... Whereas that is a well-judged, paced version of telling stories. This is just stuff they've forgotten about.
Yeah, and they're just like, we need to fill out this card, so let's do this.
What a nothing card
this is an absolutely nothing undercard with a pretty intriguing main event. Like, that is how I am summing up Clash of Champions. Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the Bludgeon Brothers with this one. I don't see the point with Bri Xango winning this when you're pushing the Bludgeon Brothers, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine though. I'll be honest with you, as much as I don't think this is a great undercard, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this match because the Bludgeon Brothers are awesome.
I'm a big fan of comedy wrestling, and I like Bri Xango. From what I've seen of them, they haven't had much time in the ring. When they had their match against the Usos, the rolling across the ring from Bri's every time they tried to do a dive. I mean, but that sort of match that I want won't be good for Bludgeon Brothers.
No.
So yeah, I think it's what you said. It's going to be a few attempts at comedy, and then Bludgeon Brothers are just going to crush them. About a couple of minutes, I see.
Yeah, oh god, this can't go any more than 2 minutes. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will be fun. It's weird though, because this doesn't feel like it's the payoff of the Fashion Files. Like, it really doesn't, because the whole 2B thing just kept getting dropped and sort of brought up. They sort of solved it, but they didn't. And now it's just like maybe it's because the Fashion Files wasn't actually on SmackDown Live this week. It was because it was on YouTube or WWE.com. That it feels like a real throwaway match and not the conclusion of something we've been building up to for 6 months. So, I mean, speaking of terribly told storylines,
I never saw Fashion Files like that there was something that had to end with a payoff. I think the longer, it's just like a recurring skit. This was a storyline. Fashion Files can continue once it's been paid off.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the real meat is the Ascension and Bri Xango. Like, that's the long term, that's the WrestleMania, whatever they're going to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope that
maybe there's some Ascension interference.
I was going to say, I'm hoping that the Ascension costs them the match or something along the lines. Or, they come down to, console them after the match and then give them a vicious beat down and we can get back to the old Ascension, get rid of the weird makeup that they've got, and they can just go back to, NXT Connor and Victor.
Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. I want Bri Xango to be, Ascension to avenge Bri Xango's beatdown.
Oh,
and then go against Bludgeon Brothers.
I like it. And then they were like, why weren't you there to help us when we were there to help you?
Yeah.
That's a much better way of telling the story.
So, yeah, we're both going for Bludgeon Brothers there. Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler in probably the least anticipated match. I'm gonna say,
yeah,
for a while. I'm looking here, and there's some there's some not very anticipated matches here. But this is, at least the others have a ridiculous amount of context behind them. This is what we've had for the last couple of weeks with some Dolph Ziggler.
Yes, so they kind of built this up after Survivor Series when you had Corbin and Roode sort of clash, and then they just announced a couple of days later that, it's going to be a championship match with Dolph Ziggler in the ring. And I was like, what? Why? Has Dolph Ziggler won a pay-per-view match this year?
I don't want to say... he usually gets his win back on SmackDown, doesn't he?
Did he beat Bobby Roode on pay-per-view?
No, I think... Oh, I can't even remember. It's forgettable stuff, whatever it is. But yeah, I'll go first because you've been going. This is an interesting one because definitely Ziggler's taken the pin. I'll put my money on that.
Yeah.
But I think now might be the time for Roode to win the belt.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go for a Booby Roode win.
Really now?
Yes.
See, I'm going Bazza Corbs. I think that Corbin is retaining. You are right. I think that a Bobby Roode win would be great for him, but I think that Baron is keeping hold of the belt until early next year, maybe holding it even until WrestleMania.
Oh, wow. Although it's not like the payoff to a storyline, this division needs freshening up. Like what's happening at the moment isn't working. The Baron Corbin title reign.
Are you trying to tell me that Baron Corbin's feud with Sin Cara didn't suck you into the TV?
Well, that was the exception. I'm saying it's a shame because I was writing about the AJ Styles, Ty Dillinger, Baron Corbin three-way from what was that pay-per-view? Hell in a Cell, I think.
Was it really?
I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a cracking match.
Yeah. That's because Ty Dillinger's very good. He's just never on TV.
Well, all three of them worked together very well. Even Corbin was very good in that match. But okay, that's one we're differing on. Chance for another differentiation here because a lot of teams...
All of the teams, really.
The Usos versus the New Day versus Chad Gable and
Shelton Benjamin.
And Rusev Day. It's Rusev. I can't go that high with this voice at the moment. For the Tag Team Championships.
Here are 4 teams. We've had them all beat each other on TV so no one gets over, and now they're all going to compete to see who can be the best of the losers.
Yeah, WWE like to flatten everything out, don't they? Yeah. Rather than, here's one. No, we're just going to have everyone beat everyone, and you don't really care about anything.
Yeah, everyone's had a win, everyone's had a loss. Now, let's go and see who can be the best of that lot.
It's weird, because on paper... that sounds like it would work. Like, I genuinely don't know who could win here. But if you do it for every feud...
Yeah.
For several years...
Well, here's the other thing as well.
It does get a bit repetitive and disinteresting.
I mean, the other side of it as well is that, that is one way they could work. It's like, I don't know who's going to win this, because every team has got a win. But every team has also got a loss as well. So you're not like, well, then none of them are really good teams.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. Like, Gable and Jordan were it seemed like they were being pushed towards this tag title shot, and then the New Day just beat them. And you're like, now they've gone cold. And then Rusev Day just beat the Usos, and you're like, well, I guess they're a bit rubbish as well then. So, I just, no one gets over this way.
It's a shame because the Usos and the New Day were so, on another level, and they do feel like they've been brought down a bit by all this. I would have preferred to have kept the New Day away. Just have them do something else. And have maybe a 3-way where it's Rusev Day and American Beta versus the Usos. I think that would have worked.
Yeah.
But it's going to be 4 people in the ring at a time.
Yeah, this should be fairly chaotic. I think that these lads are all going to they're going to go out with the aim to steal the show. They are going out to look to have the best match on the card. And I think it will be a lot of fun. I think it will be good, chaotic fun.
Well, see, everyone there is very, very good.
Yeah, they are.
And Usos and New Day have tremendous chemistry together. Chad Gable and Benjamin are no slouches. Rusev is very engaging. English is perfectly fine. Yeah, this could be very good.
Yeah.
So I went first last time.
I am going with an Usos retention.
Ooh. So you see, that's where I think you're slipping up.
Oh, really?
Because I think you saying that, I think you're going to have retentions all across the board.
I mean, spoilers, but
yeah. So that's why I went for Roode in the United States title.
So you think a title will change hands?
I just end of the year,
Yeah, but, I mean, end of the year, like that's even more reason for people to just keep hold of their titles.
Okay, so you're going Usos. I mean, Rusev Day are hot at the moment. He's got a good T-shirt. Sell a few more versions before Crimbo. And American Beta have been getting the push. I'm going to go for an Usos retention as well.
Yeah.
But God, what? This was like one of the best things about SmackDown for quite a few months. And now it just feels like it's in a stagnation period, which is a real shame.
Well, it is December.
But that does, I know you're explaining their methodology, but it's a shame that has to be the case.
Isn't it just?
So Charlotte versus Natalya with all the SmackDown women standing in a row outside.
Standing at ringside. So we got Charlotte versus Natalya with everyone else as lumberjacks, not lumberjills.
Lumber people.
Come on now.
It's 2017.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to go for a Charlotte retention.
As am I.
Probably because a DQ finish.
You reckon?
Well, lumberjacks and everything outside. It's not going to be a clean match. It's going to be a hell of interference.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that this was all building up towards Charlotte versus Ruby Riott. I feel that this the direction that we're heading to. So it's got to make sense for me to have Charlotte retain. Maybe Ruby wins the belt before WrestleMania. Because then you're going to build towards, if you are building towards the horsewomen match.
Force women.
The Force women. That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
Jedis.
The Force women versus the Force women. And so they need kind of the belts off them if you're going to get to that point.
What about some Carmella action?
Or like a cash-in. Well, actually, I saw someone put out a really interesting idea. Although, I mean, it doesn't overly make a whole mess of sense, but, it is WWE, it is December, so this is always a possibility, was that Carmella thinks she's being smart when they're laid down and cashes in. But because everyone's at ringside, everyone's involved in the match.
I feel like we started this with the cash-ins.
We did the Royal Rumble.
Someone accidentally cashing in when it's a multi-person match.
Yeah.
Like we talked about that at Survivor Series, then I fantasy booked it for Royal Rumble.
Yep, which you won.
AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship. Now, I thought it was pretty straightforward, this AJ win, but then I did the 10 Clash of Champions rumours, conspiracy theories, whatnot. Now I'm a bit worried.
Uh-oh, you think we're going to get a modern-day Maharaja win?
They had the John Cena versus Jinder plan for Royal Rumble through to Mania. And Mania plans don't tend to change a great deal for the top match. I know that wasn't the case last year. WrestleMania had the Undertaker and Cena thing changed, and that sort of threw around the rest of the SmackDown card.
And Cena Joe.
Well, that wasn't for Mania, was it?
Was that not Mania? I thought it was a Mania one.
No, it was always going to be Taker versus Cena. And then it got moved because Taker was going to get retired by Roman Reigns. So, yeah, I'm just thinking... I feel like Vince still wants to do the Jinder John thing. In which case, I think Jinder should probably win the title here. But oh my god. There's also, though, that AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura feud that you can build to for WrestleMania, which would be so much better. And what a match that could be.
I'm still sticking with my... Perhaps this is just like an optimistic viewpoint. Perhaps I'm being completely ridiculous with this. But I really do... Like, my gut feeling is that the plan... is that Nakamura's going to win the Royal Rumble and they're going to build towards AJ Nakamura at WrestleMania. I think a SmackDown guy is winning the Rumble, and if it's going to be a SmackDown guy, it has to be Nakamura. So,
That's going to be Randy Orton.
It's going to be Randy Orton. I'm going for, 2 years in a row. I'm going for an AJ retention here. I think they proper have given up on this Jinder Mahal experiment. This match is only here because... it's the contractual rematch clause nonsense, and they thought, well, may as well just do it on pay-per-view because our other top stars are involved in a different match, so may as well just put Jinder here, and then we can put this Jinder thing to bed. He can slide down to the mid-card, maybe get into a feud with Baron Corbin over the US title, which is a much better place for Jinder, as we have said many times before. But I think AJ's retaining here.
I am also going to go for AJ, but... I want it to be known that I expressed doubt.
Okay.
It's like, so I'm right either way.
I see.
If I'm right, I went for AJ. I knew that. But if it doesn't, it was like, oh, but Ollie did say that might happen.
Yeah, like how I booked
Perfect.
the Sami Zayn heel turn.
Sami
Hayn.
Okay, so
We should
then...
we should have made a video about that. How I definitely predicted that.
Yeah, you wrote it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They WWE saw it and then and then stole my idea.
So, I mean, the WWE title match could go on last, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be the tag
Oh
match.
god, I'm so confident. Like a lot of people in the SmackDown review yesterday were saying like that's not the main event. That's not the main event. And like for me, I'm looking at this card being like, how can this not be the main event? Like this has to be the main event,
Yeah,
right?
because
Like,
if they've moved Raleigh and Ryder to the pre-show, this is the only other contender.
well, yeah. I mean, apart from Bludgeon Brothers, obviously. But like, I can't see a card closing out with AJ versus Jinder. This has to be the main event.
Shane McMahon's the biggest star in the company.
Yeah.
He's got to be the main event of it, yeah.
Yeah, this has to be.
So I'm quite curious to see how this goes, how this plays out in the ring. Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn tag match with 2 special guest referees, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Should be very interesting. It's a very interesting story. I like the tension between the authority figures. A lot of people pointed out it's not the first, as Corey Graves claimed, I think, on SmackDown, because a similar thing happened with the bar match at the Royal Rumble this year.
Was that against Gallows and Anderson?
Possibly, yes.
I honestly, I mean, can't remember. Rumble was so long ago, but like, I seem to have some sort of recollection of. But was that 2 regular referees?
Yes.
I see. I think
These are
they're
special guest
I think
referees.
that's your workaround there. These are special guest referees
In the Middle East.
Yeah,
That's how you get round.
Yeah, it's the first women's championship match.
TNA.
You see. So yeah, I think they could probably still go with this as the first of its kind. Although it was a mode on SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation.
Was that why you were watching little YouTube clips?
No, I was
earlier?
watching the Rock do the People's Elbow on SmackDown.
So you were just watching.
Yeah, I was just watching.
Just randomly.
I was just well, it was for the video I'm doing on Sunday. But yeah, so I find this match actually very intriguing because I think there's actually quite a lot going on. Because SmackDown is only focused on one storyline at the moment, it means that storyline has got quite a lot of spinning plates and a lot of moving parts, and I find that quite intriguing. It's a shame they haven't given as much attention to the rest of the card and the rest of the show, but at least we have this. I suppose you could say it's a bare minimum. At least we have this main event.
So, shall I go first?
Or you go first.
So-
I mean, I definitely know where I'm going with this.
I think we're going to land the same way.
Yeah.
The stipulation, additionally to the special guest referees, is that Owens and Zayn will have to leave WWE, leave the whole company, not just leave SmackDown and go to Raw, if they lose. Now, they could easily leave, and then come back next week. WWE do that all the time. But I am going to say they win thanks to interference, or not interference, but sort of Daniel Bryan helping them out.
Yes, I also think they're going to go that way as well. And I wonder if they're going to do the Daniel Bryan helping them out bits sort of surreptitiously and just being like, oh, what did Daniel Bryan help them win there, or was it an accident?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm thinking here. But I think Kevin and Sami have to win this match, really, to kind of like, it's one of those stipulations I really don't like, where it's kind of, I almost feel it telegraphs the finish. Yeah. TNA used to do it all the time when people were like, I'm going to put my career on the line. It was like, well, obviously you're winning then. And Sami Zayn's been announced for the tag match thing that they're doing on Facebook Watch next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they've just released those Yep T-shirts. They've made official ones of those now. So it just seems a little bit silly to kind of like make merchandise for someone and book them in for stuff in January if they're going to be fired on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. Well, but like we said, WWE could easily fire them and bring them back next week. Because like Daniel Bryan that could be another step in the tension. Wouldn't be a good step in the tension, but it is a tension step.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Daniel Bryan won't overtly help them and turn heel. I think this will be another little tiny progression in his overall heel turn.
Yeah. Can I make another prediction for this show before you get into a coughing fit? I think this show will be 2.5 hours long.
Oh, so not a full 3 hours?
I cannot see the show running.
I hope so.
I cannot see the show running for 3 hours. It almost seems impossible it could run for 3 hours.
You don't think AJ and Jinder are going to get half an hour?
They're going to have a 40-minute 5-star classic?
I mean, if anyone can do it...
Well, I mean, actually, in fairness, that was Jinder's best match when he lost the championship. So, I mean, yeah, AJ probably could do it. But yeah, I can't see this going longer than 2.5 hours.
Well, do you want to do the outro?
Oh man, I get to do it again.
You get to do it again. I'm feeling a bit coffee.
People really enjoyed it when I did it yesterday.
I'm glad that people stick around that long. I just assume as soon as they start doing outros, people just click off.
Well, they're clicking on the videos that you should be clicking on right now to check out more from the WrestleRamble or the WrestleTalk news. I hope I pointed to the right ones there. Support this channel by subscribing and pledge on Patreon. Order issue 2 of the magazine. We have issue 1 just behind us, but order issue 2. Follow us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, and download the WrestleRamble podcast. This has been Ollie Davis. I have been Luke Owen, and that was Rambling.